Winning is everything. That's what it's about. But they say second is the first of the losers.
What makes a winning racing driver? I think someone that's focused and determined and really puts their work in with the team.
There's a real happy balance between aggression, between calmness, between precision.
As far as race drivers are concerned, they are very selfish, they know what they want and they work very hard to get the car exactly where they want it to be.
Apart from all the obvious, the bravery bit, experience really is what you can't buy. I can see in Flash what Matt used to be like. Matt is a more mature driver and he will bide his time, pick his moments. Initially he went off on motorcycle racing again and he broke his leg and compressed his spine and his mother said no more, so I said, come on, you're going to go car racing. He's one of the best in the world, there's no question of that. And young Flash is going to be one of the best in the world.
I started karting when I was 16, which by today's standards is pretty old. I was one of these kids with obviously the pictures of cars on the walls and all that kind of stuff. And I went to Knockhill, God, I must have only been about 10 or something like that. And Steve Soper was there, Joe Winkelhock. For me, that was the start of thinking, I want to do that. Somehow I want to try and mould my life into being on that grid.
You've got to put everything on the line because if you don't, the next guy is going to. So they'll do anything it takes. Because we've all got very equal equipment, and it's just finding that very small edge to get one over on the others. And when your car's working well, you can move forward. When it isn't, you've just got to hang in there.
They go through tough times. Sometimes self-doubt creeps in, and sometimes the engineers get it wrong, and we have to sort of pull ourselves back together.
It is frustrating, but if someone gets the nose in, you've just got to let them go. Because you end up going to smash it out of your car, their car, and so sometimes, as you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing.
You need to take some risk in the early part of the race. It's no good waiting behind in the queue of traffic, you need to attack right from the word go.
There's a lot of gamesmanship. I'd classify it as rubbing. I think the TV probably picks up 10% of it.
Every lap out there in the race, they are on the edge. You need to be there if you want to be at the front.
You've got to roll with the punches, take the hits, and also you'll get people who will instigate the hits who are in front, so they'll be braking early or brake testing you and then working with your teammate. And that's where Flash and I get on really well. We can work closely together and gang up on people.
It's nice to have that in the team, really, that you can rely on a friendship and relationship like that, that things do happen in racing and it's not going to affect the overall dynamic of it.
The early part of my career, it was always, would I make the next season? So it was trying to get the deal, get the sponsorship, find a car, get it to the track, not crash it too much, not cause too much damage. Would we have enough money to finish the season? And it was real hand to mouth. I can remember some seasons, weeks before the start of the season, and I wasn't racing. Very, very stressful over the years. Being with a top team like Honda Racing, it brings a different kind of stress. Because as the older hand in it, you're meant to come up with the goods week in, week out. And I would say the line you tread between doing well and messing up like Alton Park is very, very narrow.
3 minutes, everybody, 3 minutes.
The drivers are fairly competitive. Either driver can win a race. There's no team orders. They do swap notes. But obviously at the end of the day they want to beat each other.
Our team strategy is that we allow them to race in the last 2 laps. They did that, and obviously what happened. I think in a perfect world you'd come first and second in every qualifying session and race. You've got to learn to handle a disappointment that not everything in racing is going to go as perfectly as that.
Touring cars historically has been wing mirror to wing mirror, bumper to bumper, and that's why it's exciting, that's why the crowd come to watch, and that's why people watch on TV. So I don't mind a little bit of rubbing. I don't particularly like getting attacked from 50 yards back and speared off into the gravel, but a little bit of door-to-door stuff is part and parcel of touring cars.
I'm driving above the limit of the car, above the limit of everything, just to stay with the stupid turbos. It's a joke. It's a joke. An absolute joke.
Thanks, Jason.
He's just fighting his corner. I almost think it's a harder pill for him to swallow not being in the fastest car. You know, all this stuff, I'm overdriving the car, that's why I'm having accidents. That's what we've been doing the last 4 or 5 years. You know, it's a race, for God's sake. You know, it's seldom that you're lucky to be the fastest, and one of the places you should always look is inwardly rather than, you know, to your equipment. I've always been quite self-critical of myself. I don't think that's a bad thing.
You know, we do a lot of training just to try and keep yourself in the best physical shape. It's not about building big muscles, it's about endurance. We don't really have the G-forces like you get in Formula 1. What we do have is massive temperatures inside the car. So then when you've got your fireproof underwear, race suit, balaclava, helmet, gloves, it's the concentration to make sure that you're still focusing and performing at your optimum, even when you know, when the heat literally is on.
My personal preparation for a race is eating properly, drinking properly, hydrating, because it gets very, very hot in the cars. We can be up to 55 degrees C. Then it's just following a simple routine. You know, I always like to go and kiss my mum and my wife and my little girl before I go out, and shake hands in a certain order. I get dressed in a certain order. I'm pretty annoyingly superstitious.
Yeah, they obviously sit there getting very focused. They like everything to happen in the same order, as calmly as possible. Anything you can do to make sure they don't get rattled before it starts is obviously good for them to keep their mental state right.
Just going through the start procedure, possible scenarios of the opening lap, what could happen if we get a bad start, a good start. It all depends where you are on the grid, and, you know, looking for clear track and how you're going to get your tyres in properly, what curbs you're going to avoid on the opening laps, how hard you're going to push.
It's almost subconscious in a way. You're going to get yourself, you know, into that kind of, you know, that focus, that concentration, that zone. And when you're on song and everything's working well, it all tends to happen quite naturally. But you've got to try and focus. It's not like Formula 1 where you've just got one race a day. For us, we've got 3 races throughout a race weekend to contend with. I've had the ups, the downs, you'll be in the depths of depression and back up, and you get a little light at the end of the tunnel. But it's I guess the bad days make you appreciate the good days, and the good days are second to none.
That incident at Alton Park where they had a rubbing together and coming together, that would have destroyed a relationship in any other team. But these two guys are such good friends. Flash, when he comes down, he lives at Matt's house, and so they're like brothers, really. And I think they're just made to work together.
You know, we've got to work with each other, but also we're our biggest opposition. But, you know, we've got a lot of opposition here up and down the pit lane.
Everybody else is a rival, we want to beat them all.
I think everyone thinks if you're a driver, you just sort of, you know, VIP, stay out of the way. But no, they're down to earth, they get involved, have a chat, they'll come and say hello, they're a bunch of lads.
We'll average at most circuits about 90, 95 mile an hour average speed. Donington's pretty special because I had my first big win there with a big payday. For racing, it's Brands.
Of course, the championship is the ultimate goal. It has to be at the start of the season. But obviously, individually as a driver, I'd like to take the driver's trophy as well. I've never done it before. I finished third twice, and you know, I'm hoping that this year's my year. I guess what drives me to win as a touring car is the quest for, you know, almost for perfection, to try and do the ultimate lap time and make maximum performance out of the car that you're given.
Mardy, Gordon's got right temper on him. Matt's really chill.
I have the odd weekend off every now and then, which is lovely to spend with the family. My wife Karen, I've got 2 boys who are 16 now, Will and Hen, and my little girl Matilda, who's 2. So I think they've all got aspirations to race. The boys especially now, they've got their fingers almost on the grass of getting a car each, and even Matilda, she runs around the bedroom giving it the racing driving noises, so I think I'm going to have my hands full.
When you're in the car, you've got so much going on. You know, you've got to think absolutely balanced on the edge of grip, trying to do the fastest lap time. You're trying to make sure nobody can overtake you, so you're attacking, defending. You know, it's a real art. You've got so many things going on. when you're out there, the feeling's absolutely awesome. There's nothing beats it, and to be out there, to take the checker flag, to win, it's what my life revolves around, and it's what I love doing. So I am the luckiest boy alive.
Oh my God.
Don't do that again.